Next up on the channel, we have the electric hot hatch from MG, the XPower. It's got 600 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds, launch control, and a 429 brake horsepower. You're not interested in what it looks like and what are the differences outside. Let's take it out for a drive straight away. We'll talk about that later on. If you're interested in all this kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, and we are here with the XPower, and 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds. 429 brake horsepower, all-wheel drive with 600 Newton meters torque. And people are questioning whether it's an electric hot hatch, whether it's a hot hatch in general. I've no problem answering that question. It is bang for buck performance. Do you need it? No. We had this conversation recently with the Tesla Model Y performance, and this is the perfect road for it, actually. Amazing. A real twisty, windy, not a great setup. Suspension is very well set up. Very well set up. Brakes aren't bad. Probably could be a bit stickier. But yeah, it's good. We'll go that road again, another spin. With the all-wheel drive, it's 201 horsepower on the front and 228 horsepower on the rear. It's got torque vectoring, it's got electronic limited slip diff. And so yeah, it's all about getting the power down to where it needs to go down. And for the money, 42,995. Right, let's give it another spin. The G meter, because we're in track mode, because we're in sport, and we have launch control as well, we're going to do. Oh yeah, no bother to it. Nice. Well able for it. When we get up to the faster roads with the 100 kilometer an hour speed limit and the 120 kilometer an hour, there was people asking about the vibration of the drive shaft, but I didn't experience coming down now. I didn't push it too hard coming down to Belmullet. Right, let's give it to it. She is, and the suspension, my God. And these are on 18-inch wheels. And it is drizzling. Oh yeah, nice. Brilliant. Very good, very good, very good. I have no problem with any of that. Let's be a bit more sensible and take it out on some normal roads and see what it's like slipping onto a motorway, bringing those speeds up. But yeah, there's a lovely whir to it. Should it have a sound emulator? I don't think so, but just to give you that more dramatic, there is a whir off the electric motor, don't get me wrong. But yeah, very nice. Reversing camera. Right. We'll do launch control. So in launch control, you have to put your left foot on the brake and then right foot all the way down. It hunkers. 3, 2, 1. She's not getting the traction. My phone has got out of it. 0.4 on the G meter. Yeah, the phone holder isn't great. There's a car in front of us now. That's gonna curtail our fun. But yeah, very nice. That low center of gravity. We'll be back on some national primary and motorway roads over here in Ireland, but so far it's caused a lot of conversation on the comments on social media when I said, is it a hot hatch? If this isn't a hot hatch, I don't know what is. An electric hot hatch. We had some others like the Cooper Born, etc., e-boost. Not a patch on it. And then if you want to drive it sedately about your normal day, like Still a very, very capable electric hatch. But when you want the hot bit of it, you want the spicy extra, all within the law. Is your range going to be affected? Yes, 385 WLTP. It's saying at 96% after a bit of blapping around the place there. 266. That's based on my drive in the last couple of days. It's very hard not to have the accelerator tweaked and tinkled while you're driving this. So if you're looking for, you can drive it economically, don't get me wrong. It's just, it's so addictive. It is so addictive. And somebody asked me on social media, would I buy one? Yes, if I wanted that need for speed, and that's not me, those that follow the channel know, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. You know I'm more about the economy and taking it easy and chilling out and captain slow. But yeah, very good. Very happy with that. Let me know in the comments what you think of the MG4 XPower. Stay tuned. So I didn't, I was still driving when I came along, so you can view, so my power percentage, the actual map itself, speed time curve, what I was doing kilometers per hour, and then the G-force distribution as well, and where that G was distributed. So it's nice to have that. Again, it's very addictive, but it's good to have it that it's recording it, and there's the G-force meter on the actual driver display as well. So let's get them on some primary roads and have a look at what it's like to drive in a normal national primary motorway situation. Nevo's thrilled to announce that we're launching Ireland's first ever electric vehicle show in partnership with Bank of Ireland on Saturday the 17th of February 2024 in the RDS in Dublin. On the day, view more than 20 EV manufacturer brands showcasing their latest models and technology, chat to industry experts from finance, insurance, home and public charging, alternative e-mobility solutions and much, much more. Whether you're looking to make the switch now or starting to think about driving electric, we'll help you make the right decision. Visit nevo.ie today to learn more and register for your free ticket. So here we are on the Charlestown bypass, good straight national primary road. We're at 100 kilometers an hour as per the speed limit. And people were talking about a weird drive shaft vibration. There's a small bit of vibration, but I don't think it's too uncomfortable. I don't think it's too noticeable, to be quite honest. Road noise is a bit loud with those 18-inch cyclone wheels, and there's a small bit of wind noise around the actual. Now it is a very windy day, so, but came down from Dublin with my brother, had no problem chatting away with regards to the volume and the inside the cabin. I've got noise cancelling on the microphone. I might actually turn it off there now so you can see what it's like without that noise cancelling, just so you can hear the background noise, number one. Something I didn't talk about when we were driving up in the dunes behind in Belmullet is that it also has a 25% stiffer suspension. They've tweaked the dampeners, they've increased the anti-roll bar, and so that whole tuning process has happened in the United Kingdom. So very much set up for European roads, UK and Ireland roads, but European roads for sure. Some people were asking me on social media about some of the creature comforts inside it. So on this one, unlike the very first model, and if you're interested in the MG4 and you're just wondering whether the XPower would be for you, have a look at the video up in the top right hand corner of when I got to go and have a look at it in Bicester when it was launched in the Volcano Orange, and I've also had it on coast to coast here in Ireland. So a lot of interest in the MG4. But on this one, unlike those other ones, there's now a rear wiper. It doesn't have rain sensing wipers, and it's a small thing, but I even mentioned it in the things that I liked and the things that I didn't like when I did the road trip to fully charged, the 1,000-kilometer road trip. And that video is actually doing very well for me. Good reversing camera. This has blind spot. The rain sensing wipers would be nice, but again, it's a creature comfort that you could get over. Active lane keeping or lane keep assist gets turned off every single time. It is just not set up for, I'm not sure what it is, but it's just not set up for, if it's not a good straight primary road like this, no, it is trying to put, and it's jerking you back, and no, it's not good. it's hard to, going back to that vibration issue, it's hard to talk about it because the road surface isn't great. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't think of it yesterday, and then when I was on social media and doing some research for this video, people started talking about it, and now that I know about it, I'm like, well, maybe there is a bit of a vibration in the drive shaft over 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. Aesthetically, outside, the differences are along the bottom trim of the car. There's that matte black, and on the XPower you're getting kind of a silver highlight on that, number one. You've got the orange brake calipers, number two. So externally, they're the only two ways of knowing it. And sorry, there's 7 colours. There's a black, there's a white, there's a red, there's a blue, there's a grey, there's a volcano orange, and then in the XPower only, there's the racing green matte. I think it's a stunning colour. It is really, really nice, and the fact that it only comes on the XPower, when you see it, you know that's an XPower. Whereas if you pick any of the other colours, they could be your standard. So in MG4 land, there are, turn back on active noise cancelling. In MG4 land, there are standard range. Then there's the long range, which is this one with the 64 kilowatt hour battery. 61.7 of it is usable. And then there's a new extended range, which is a 77 kilowatt hour battery, roughly the same price as this. Has a higher torque. It's still rear-wheel drive, but it's a bigger motor than the standard long range. And so in the sweet spot, would I pick this over the extended range? I'd probably prefer more range than the power, because there's still lots of power. And so just remember that there's a couple of different battery sizes: standard range, long range, and there's extended range. And there's the 2 trim levels, Excite and Exclusive here in Ireland. They're called other things in the UK market, Trophy and, what was the other one? Jump into the comments and let me know. And then internally, you've got track mode as an option on the infotainment screen that we've talked about when we just left Balmullet. Also, the seats are Alcantara, and so you won't get them on anything other than the XPower. And there's red stitching in the side of the seats. Trick miss there, really. I think it should have been orange to go with the brake calipers and just tie that whole XPower in. It's very subtle. Again, you wouldn't really know unless you knew. So there's aesthetically some of the things that are different on the MG4 XPower. Charging on the MG4, on the AC side of things, it's the same as the other ones. It's 6.6 kilowatts, which is below the norm, but it's thereabouts. But you can go for an optional 11 kilowatt on AC depending on your market. So wherever you're watching this from, you can see whether it's an available option for you. You also have vehicle to load, so you can buy an adapter, and that can give you an output of up to 2.2 kilowatts. And so some options there. Practicality are really good. The boot in it is 369 litres. So not a bad size boot, slightly smaller than the Volkswagen ID3, but it's a nice practical boot, and there's a subfloor in underneath. You can drop the seats as well, 60/40. Briefly talked about the brakes. We've talked about the brake calipers a lot, but the brakes are a larger front and rear disc, and then can decelerate from 100 to 0 in under 34 meters, so 33.9. So it understands that there is more power to put down, and it needs better stopping power. A lot of the research that I've done on this with other reviewers, etc., are saying that they would like better brakes. I don't know how fast they're going to get it slower, but yeah, a bit more grippier brake, a bit more feeling from the steering. The steering goes where you want it to go, but again, I think with an electric car, I think you're going to get a bit of that. The suspension is well set up. We've talked about that already. The tyres are good. If you put probably better tyres on, now these are Bridgestones Turanzas, so it's good. It's just there's a lot of power to get down if you are doing launch controls on a regular basis, or if it's wet or whippy roads. When we did that launch control, it was gravelling a small bit, but it was a gravelly kind of. I found the turning and the torque vectoring and the electronic limited slip diff with the suspension, I think it's a lovely setup. Very, very good. Charging on DC is slightly better on the XPower. It can go up to 150 kilowatt, whereas the standard MG4 would go about 120, I think. I've seen speeds of over 100 kilowatts when I've been charging it. No active preconditioning that I'm aware of. There is a heat pump as standard. It also can tow. I think it's 500 kg, so not really a towing car, but if you just bring a small trailer, etc., you could stick it on the back. So overall, I think it's a very good package for its money, and if you're looking for that performance side of things, think there isn't better bang for its buck like I talked about earlier on. Another update that I like on the MG4 since I've seen it last is the larger tiles inside here. Much easier to press when you're driving, you just have to swipe down, and so down. You've got the big temperature down at the bottom, the heated seats, 3-stage heated steering wheel on and off, and then just much larger, easy to read tiles. The main menu is still a bit on the smaller size, but it's not bad. But it's great to see an improvement in that over-the-air update and the firmware being updated in these cars. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is the MG4 XPower going to be on your list? Is it something that you're thinking about as a little pocket rocket for the weekends, or something, a second car, you want something? I've shown it to a couple of people now since I've had it this week, and there's been a lot of approval for it. I know that within the EV community, people are picking and nitpicking the stuff that they don't like about it, but were they ever a purchaser of the car in the first place? Potentially not. It's great to have the feedback, don't get me wrong, but sometimes people are just throwing in an opinion, whereas really the target audience for this, a driver that likes that bit of extra performance. And if there wasn't a performance market, you wouldn't have, and on the channel we will be having the Hyundai Ioniq 5N coming up in a couple of months. The Tesla Model Y Performance, we already had it on the channel, and so there is definitely an audience for a more performance-based electric vehicle, as much as electric vehicles probably don't need it and have it in spades with that instant torque, but people sometimes just want that extra. And I was surprised with the Tesla Model Y video when I put it out there and asked the question. A lot of people said, yeah, I went for it because of it's the performance designation and the numbers that it can achieve. The practicality doesn't end there. There's a 7-year warranty on this car. Now, it doesn't cover track if you do go on bringing it on through. As much as there's track modes on it, if something happens on the track mode, I believe it's just standard warranty, battery, body, etc., etc. But so just remember that it's got a really good warranty, number one, and number two, Euro NCAP 5-star rating. So it's a safe car as well. It has the driver assist, it has everything it needs to achieve those, and those tests are getting stronger and stronger and more stringent and stricter. So yeah, safe, affordable, practical, fast. MG4 XPower is ticking a lot of boxes. Just got back to Dublin just as a wrap up, and you can see that I got it down to 21.1 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, 4.5 hours driving, average speed 71, but it's always showing a lot slower because of the slower country roads at the beginning, and 222 kilometers of a journey. So it's around that 300 kilometers real world range, even though the WLTP is 385. And that's with not going too slow on the accelerator and on the road. So that's where we're at. Also, I just wanted to show you a bit more of a close-up on the track mode. So with the actual screen itself, you go to home and then you swipe over, and then on the track mode, if I press it, and you've got circular route, street roaming is what I was doing, and then driving advice. And then when you have it in track mode, the actual start street roaming, start current trip, the third panel here turns into gyroscopic. Let me change the menu on it, see what else is on it. Oh yeah, so it just puts it in there. Okay, perfect. Hopefully you've enjoyed my review and drive of the MG4 XPower, a real electric hot hatch for the modern age. I think they've done a great job. Could it be better? Absolutely. There are tweaks and elements that could be improved, but for 43,000 euros, for this bang for your buck, for the practicality of it, I think they've done a phenomenal job. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you like the video, please like it, share it to your motorhead friends that are interested in a bit of performance that haven't gone quite EV just yet. And remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching. And if you're happy watching this video, you might be interested in this video too.